Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you here this fine Saturday morning. Hope you're doing well. If you want to follow along, we will be beginning chapter 9 of the book of Genesis this morning and picking up there as now the ark has come to rest and Noah is getting his marching orders. Noah is getting his directions on what to do next. And try to imagine just a moment, not really necessarily a thought of the text itself, but just kind of getting our bearings a little bit, I think. Uh, Imagine Noah and his family, uh, the mindset, what's going on in their minds after enduring these 40 days, 40 nights flood on the ark, waiting for the waters to completely recede, um, coming off the ark to a barren, uh, no life world. Um, it's difficult to imagine what was going through their mind, what they saw, what they faced as they climbed down out of that ark. And then Noah comes to him, and God comes to Noah and tells him to be fruitful and multiply. The torch is being passed here. This is the same command that we see given to Adam and Eve. And so now that has been passed on. They are being told themselves to pass on the to continue to bless, to continue to multiply and fill the earth. And this is very important that you remember that, because even though God had destroyed creation, it does not mean the end. God had not given up on his plan. God had not given up on what he had laid out. That passage back in Genesis, again, at the beginning, when he sold to Satan that the descendant of this woman will crush your head. He promised a savior at that point. That plan hasn't changed, and so here we see he goes right back. I was going to say go back to the drawing board, but ordinarily when you say go back to the drawing board, you go back to draw up new plans. God doesn't go back to draw up new plans. God comes back to his original plan and says, all right, let's reproduce. Let's have sons and daughters. Let's grow mankind. And so now they come off there, and at this point, God changes everything, and he tells them at this point they now have the ability to eat all the plants. I give you the green plants. I give you everything. And so the only thing that was off limits at this point was when he tells them, you shall not eat the flesh with its life, that is the blood. In other words, they weren't allowed to eat raw meat because it represented life. Revealed to us in the book of Leviticus. But not only that, God was looking out for them. I think most of us understand the danger of eating raw meat. I guess there's a few things that you might get, a few kinds of meat you might get eat raw, but generally speaking, if you eat raw meat, you die or get so sick you wish you were dead. And so he tells them not to do that. And then he gives them one other commandment. This is actually a new commandment, perhaps, based on what had already transpired with Cain and Abel, when he tells him, if you shed the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. And so God institutes capital punishment here when Noah and his family return to dry land. And then he makes this covenant, this new covenant with them, and tells them to carry on, that he will not destroy the earth with water again. And so God is really just reestablishing uh, the world order that he had set up in Eden. Obviously, a few things have changed. They're no longer in Eden. They no longer have access to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But now they're given permission. Go ahead. If you can find it, eat it, except, again, raw meat. And so God just says, okay, We're going back to square one. That's better than, I said, well, I'll go to the drawing board. No, we're going to go back to square one. We're going to go right back to where we began, and we are going to, through you, Noah, and your family, we're going to fill this earth, and eventually I'm going to send my son as a savior. And we can really, I guess, dig and scratch around here for a good while on everything that was happening as Noah and his family settle this ark and come off the ark and begin to resettle on earth and carry out this being fruitful and multiply thing. But the real beauty here, again, is to see God still at work. God's still moving to bring about the salvation of man all the way back here. That's what's going on. Don't miss it. Don't overlook that fact that God, all the way back here, when the ark lands and man disembarks, God once again sets out to bring about your salvation. What a wonderful thought. Think about it today. You have a good one. We'll see you here tomorrow morning. Monday morning.